Hello, future investors. I can't believe it. I'm back nearly 3 months, and what an incredible way to come back to YouTube tonight. I'm here with a special guest, someone who you guys really enjoy watching. He has he has over 3,580 subscribers, over 491,933 channel views. He started his channel on the 5th of January 2022, and his most viewed precious metals video is the truth and cons on buying silver in the UK, with a great viewing rate of 16,000 views. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to the live stream tonight Bullion. Hello, mate.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Future. How you all doing?
Oh, mate, it's great to have you here. It's great to be back. And yeah, how are you, mate? How's life and how's everything going?
Everything's good with me. Yeah, it's great to be here. Actually, I was feeling very pleased that I was going to come on tonight and have a chat with you and see everyone. It's been a while since I've done a live as well, so I'm probably going to be a little bit rusty, but I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to spend the evening with everyone here and have a chat with you for a couple of hours.
Oh, mate, thank you. And don't worry, I'm rusty as well. It's been a bloody long time, so we'll do it together. Just before we move on, I'm going to quickly say hello to the 15 people that are already jumping in the live stream. We've got Luke, Rex, John, Blister and Barnacles Adventures, Tree Dale, and yeah, more people coming through. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. Now, we've introduced myself, we've introduced Mac. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room. There's been a long period of time. In fact, the longest period of time I've been away from YouTube, nearly 3 months, an incredible amount of time. And a lot of you may have not seen my most recent video. So I'm going to quickly just brush over that topic of why I was gone for nearly 3 months. The reason for that was nothing negative. In fact, it was extremely positive. I started a new business, and being the type of person I am, I get very tunnel focused and tunnel vision on one goal at a time. And I really completely jumped in headfirst into my new business, setting it up. You know, it takes a lot of work creating websites, Instagram, TikTok, promoting it before you go live, and then actually running the business. And if it's successful, of course, you're busy. And I've been very fortunate that it's taken off rather well. And I am busy, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And it's another string in the bow of my income sources and investment, portfolio as a whole. So I couldn't really give myself to future investments. I needed a long time away to be able to focus on that business, because I don't want to come into YouTube half-hearted, and I do not want to not give you guys 100% of my attention. So I waited until everything had settled down and was running smoothly, and then I'm able to come back. And that's where we're here today. So moving on from that topic, I can see more people in the room. We've got 365. Great to see you. And yeah, everyone absolutely loving it in the comment section. Thank you for the 21 watching right now. If you're enjoying it, please smash that like button. Now, we've got something very exciting to talk about, haven't we, Mac? We've got absolutely some really cool, exciting stuff that me and you got up to in London, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, mate. Yeah, we'll have a chat about that because I've got a couple of things to add on that, especially with my hotel room. With my, I had a window which had a grand view of a storage room, which is it always makes me laugh, and yeah, we'll come on to that shortly.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, I met Bullion in real life. We were both invited as YouTubers to Tavex Bullion's opening event for their new office in Hatton Garden. We got to go to a phenomenal event, which was fantastic for networking. We met loads of people who are interested in investing in precious metals, and to be able to have that conversation with real people in real life, face to face, I found that very, very exciting to share this kind of secretive investment hobby that we all shroud in sort of mystery. It was nice to be able to get headfirst and meet people like that. And this particular event, like I say, it was a huge event to celebrate Tavex Bullion's new opening office in Hatton Garden. And I got to say, their office looks absolutely stunning. And yeah, I got to meet Mac and the guys at Tavex, all the executive officers, and the CEO, the owner. It was a fabulous event, a free bar, and lots of canapes and food going around and music. It was really, really good. And yeah, I mean, I'd like to pass it over to you, Mac. I know you went there earlier in the day, and you really capitalized on the event. You went there early, and you got to go into the Tavex office and actually film some content.
I did, yeah. So my day pretty much started probably about 4 o'clock. I had to get into Oxford, and it took me a few hours to get to London. But once I got there, I wanted to be there in the morning, and the office is brilliant. I really enjoyed it. Every time I can go into London, I always want to. It's a place that I like visiting. I don't think I'd live because it's a bit busy for someone like me. But when I went there, I was blown away with the hospitality. The guys and girls at Tavex, they were so lovely, so welcoming. Um, the office was brilliant. I did held an interview with a couple of the ladies there, Honor and Marina, and they were brilliant. I uploaded that so you can see that on my channel if you do want to see the interview with Tavex Bullion. But they were brilliant. I went round London. I took a look around the market stalls. Honor gave me some advice of speaking to going to some of the market stalls for food, and it was brilliant. Like the food, London food is fantastic. Um, the event itself was everyone was a pleasure to meet. So friendly, so welcoming. I had just a great time and meeting Future as well. So it's I think it's something that we all say because we've been on YouTube for a few years now. I've known Future for a few years, but you kind of, I don't know about you, mate, but you kind of have a picture with what people kind of look like.
Mm.
And it's funny when you kind of meet people in real life because I had no idea, but I had such a nice time. I met some great people, and yeah, it was. I'd love to go back and definitely visit Tavex again, certainly in their new office.
Oh, mate, I couldn't agree with you more. There's so many things I want to talk about. I mean, thinking about it first, you're so right. You build up a picture of what other YouTubers look like and people that you talk to. You know, I had never met Honor, and constantly emailing her and going back and forth when they're sending precious metals, like you also do
Yeah,
yourself on your channel reviewing Tavex products. You build up this mental image, don't you? And I had actually had a look on the website before at the staff who worked there, and I had never done it before, and it showed a picture of Honor, thank God, because when I got to the Tavex event, I wouldn't have known what she looked like. So when I saw her, I made a beeline up to Honor and I said, "Hi, Honor." Obviously, we all had name tags on because when you walked in, I don't know to give people a bit of context because it helps you build up an image of what it looked like. We got there and there was a grand piano, people taking your coats, offering you champagne, and there was name badges on a piano with all of our names, which helps obviously identify who's who. But luckily, I had looked at what Honor looked like through the Tavex website. So when I got there, once I'd settled down a little bit, had a couple of drinks from the free bar, a couple of vodka and cokes, I made a beeline to Honor, and before I even had a chance to say anything, she went, "Your future investments," and I thought that was a really nice touch that she had just figured that out. Obviously, I've got my name badge on, and through emails, she's obviously put two and two together. But it was so great to meet them, and I really almost felt like part of the Tavex team. I know me and you have this partnership where we review Tavex products, and we do it not only because we like Tavex as a company, but it's a great relationship where it's advantageous to us both. We can review precious metals that we don't have to buy, and Tavex get sponsorship from it. But when I got there, I didn't feel like a sponsor. I didn't feel like an advert for them. I felt like part of the team. And I remember saying to her when I first bumped into her and introduced myself properly, I said, "Am I the only YouTuber here tonight, or is there anyone else?" And the reason I asked that was because I know that really you're the only other main person that reviews Tavex products. So I did have an inkling that you could well be there. Nonetheless, I didn't know what you looked like, of course. So I said to Anna, "Is there any other YouTubers here?" And she said, "Well, Future Investments, McDonald Bullion is here." And I was like, I thought he would be. And I said, "Can you point him out to me?" And she went, "Yeah, he's over there with the red tie." So I saw you and I was like, "Oh, I'm excited to go and meet you." But I waited a bit because we were mingling and stuff like that. And you were having an in deep conversation. But eventually, yeah, I come over and I think I said, I think I called you Mac first, didn't I? And I was like, "Are you Mac?" And obviously, I know your first name, but yeah, and it was great to actually meet you. It feels crazy, doesn't it? Putting a face to a name. Did I mean? I hadn't really thought too much about what you might look like, but you do subconsciously build up a picture of what you think someone may look like. And I must say, you were probably fitting the image in my head of what I expected you to look like. Did that same thing work for you, or did you expect me to look totally different than I was?
So I think when I first had the impression that you were going, I think you put a post out on the day, because I don't think I told anyone that I was coming. Um, I wanted to just turn up, and when I saw your post was on there, I thought I'm not going to say anything because I'm not going to reply. I'm just going to see if I can try and spot you out. But I didn't have a clue. I mean, apart from the team at Tavex, from seeing them earlier on that day, which was, I think it was nice for me just to have some familiar faces to go and see. But I had absolutely no idea. But I think for me, because I think I've only met yourself, I've met TSC in real life when we went to the Royal Mint, and I've met Nerd. TSC, I don't think was how I expected him to be when I first saw him. And I thought I think thought the same way about me as well. And I saw Nerd, but they're both really nice guys and everything. So it was a pleasure to see them. But for yourself, yeah, I had no idea. As soon as you said, "Are you Mac?" I knew straight away. Like, it clicked straight away for me.
Mm.
So, and it's funny, isn't it? It's kind of like you spend years, doing videos or YouTube, speaking to people and everything. But when it comes to real life, as soon as like that sort of comes about, it correlates quite nicely when you
Oh,
come to
mate.
speak to people. And I had such a nice time. Like, I had a nice time meeting yourself, um, speaking to you know lots of really interesting people that before creating any type of videos or anything, I would have never have imagined, meeting anyone in the bullion industry as well.
Mm.
But yeah, they were so welcoming, and I know exactly what you mean by, we obviously review Tavex products and things like that. But for me, when I review products and things, Tavex always stands out for me, because I remember when, as soon as I sort of passed over that 1,000 subscriber mark, I thought, well, I reached out to other bullion dealers and things, and Tavex were the first ones to, first and probably the only ones at the time to acknowledge me, and I've never really forgotten that. So it was a pleasure to meet them. It was a pleasure to meet you, and it was a great event. I was really happy to go. So yeah.
It was good, mate, wasn't it? I mean, when I turned up, I was with someone, and we were like, let's go and find the new Tavex office down Hatton Garden Road, because we knew it wasn't far from the event location, and we were surprised that as soon as we walked down Hatton Road in London, Tavex's new store is like on the very first shop. I mean, what a prime location! And there was loads of people in the store, like all suited up, drinking champagne. And I'm a confident person. I like to get involved. I feel like I'm good at networking and meeting new people. But in that specific moment, I thought, holy shit, I'm out of my depth here. I'm a YouTuber. And yes, I have a portfolio that I'm proud of and stuff like that. And I've built this channel up. But, I'm at this event in London, and this is a gold bullion dealership that has, I think it's 16 stores all around Europe. And I'm this little YouTuber, and all these people are looking so smart in their suits. And I thought, oh my God, what have I done? So we went to a restaurant, and we had around the corner, and we had a couple of drinks just to wet the whistle and loosen up. And once I'd done that, I felt a bit better. But yeah, the event was so nice. I mean, I really enjoyed the speeches from Prit and the CEO and the owner of Tavex as well. I felt like really part of the Tavex team. And I think that's why you're right. I also emailed a bunch of, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I emailed a load of bullion dealers, because I felt like if I've got 1,000 subs, they're going to take me more seriously. So I waited until I hit that. And then I emailed probably 6 bullion dealerships, and only 2 come back to me. And from that 2, Tavex are the one that I've built this relationship up with, who have treated me like like a high profile customer. They send me pretty much anything I ask for. In fact, they've never actually said no to anything I've asked, and they send it quickly. And that relationship means a lot. And obviously, it's advantageous to them as much as it is to us. We get some fabulous content. We don't have to spend, maybe £1,000 or £2,000 on a piece of gold that we don't really want, but we just want it for content. So it works so well for both parties. In fact, they did tell me, they sent me a message on Instagram and they said they were going to be watching tonight. So they could well be floating around in the background watching this live stream. But anyway, it was a fabulous event and I have watched your video. If you guys haven't seen Matt's video of his interview with Honor and everyone else at Tavex, go and check it out. It's fantastic. I still need to finish the rest of it, but it's really, really good. Now, moving on from that for a brief moment, I wanted to talk about your investment portfolio. We love talking about investments, precious metals, and everything in between. How's it going? I haven't been really involved in the community for nearly 3 months, so a lot can change in that time. What's your investment plan? Where are you going with your journey? Are you stable? Are you putting more into one particular asset than the other? How's it going?
So I suppose for me, I'm more into gold, I think, than anything else at the moment. I think a lot of it, I was spreading, sort of diversifying so much. I think I really sort of had to hone in to what I wanted to do. At the moment, it's gold. So the past, I want to say, year and a half, apart from the S&P 500, which is something that I still look to, gold is the main one that I do really now. I do still have some silver. I like buying like the numismatic pieces, and that's really just because I quite like the history and the coins and things like that. The silver dollars, I make no, you know, I don't hide the fact that I like Morgan dollars and silver dollars and crown coins and stuff because I just think they're cool.
Yeah.
But when it comes to really storing wealth in these times, for me, it makes total sense to buy gold. But that's my view. That's my view going forward at the moment. I think with the things that are going on, even with gold being at an all-time high, which it is, and some people I was saying, I was telling a couple of people recently actually, I've had people say, why the heck are you buying gold at all-time highs? And I said, I think you really need to kind of research gold and understand why it's going up. But I don't expect it to drop at all below 2000. I think 2000 is the baseline. So for me, when it comes to, I suppose, investing, because investing in gold, people don't see it as investing. For me, it's an investment as well. I see it as an investment, but I do get it. I understand it, why people say storage of wealth, because it is as well. So I get that. So I think for me, it's going to be gold going forward at the moment. And that's really kind of it. I'm doubling into other markets when it comes to the S&P 500, but really, I think it's really gold for me. What about yourself? Is there anything else that you're kind of looking at? Are you still diversifying with the FTSE 100, the S&P 500 in gold? What's your plan?
Yeah, no, great stuff, mate. And I think even if you solidly just focus on gold and you try and if you're over diversifying and you nail it back down to maybe just one or two amazing assets like gold, then why not? That's fantastic. So yeah, great stuff and great to hear it, mate. Myself, I haven't really been invested in precious metals for a while now. It's been at least 3 months since I've invested in any commodities like gold and silver, being tangible bullion. I've certainly been more focused on the last 3 months in increasing my sources of income. That's a massive thing for me right now. I feel like my portfolio's in a very nice place. It for sure can be more, but it can always be more. Human nature, right, is that you always want more. Humans are naturally greedy. So I'm trying to be sort of content with what I'm currently, where I currently am, but I'm also not content with my sources of income. I do believe that multiple drips of income are a massive, massive thing to do. So I've been focusing not so much on piling capital into investment, but I've been piling capital into, like I say, my business that's returning me profitable income every single month now. And I'm so glad I did that, because that means I've now got 3 sources of income consistently every single month. YouTube being one of them, full-time employment being the other, and my business being the third. And when I get my buy to let, hopefully, possibly at the end of this year, it's loose on that one, but we're going to try. That will bring it up to 4. And the reason I want to increase my streams of income is because I think that nothing's certain. We take for granted our employment, that it's safe. I like to try and protect myself and cover multiple areas. And through that, I've always seemed to be, at least financially, I've always been okay. I've never had debt. I've never been in a red position. And I think that's because I'm always trying to cover all aspects. I kind of treat investing sometimes a bit like a prepper, like a doomsday stacker. I try and hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And it seems to work really well for me. Nonetheless, I've still been investing regularly every single month in my index funds, specifically the FTSE 100, as you said, and the S&P 500. And, I'm very pleased with that. The S&P 500 is up 21.98% in the last year. And, you could say gold as well, despite not having bought any. Gold's still sitting, like you say, well over, well, currently it's £2,322.72 per ounce. That's 45% up from last year, and that's an increase of £720.95 per ounce from this time last year. And going to silver as well, we're looking at very similar, percentage increases on the year. It's currently at £25.89, and it's up 42.24% on the year. That's a plus increase of £7.69. So silver and gold are looking great as well. And I think that's one nice thing, right? You don't always need to keep piling into gold or silver. If you've already got some, it's going to work for you in the background. It's like a secret worker. It just keeps going. But I really like your point earlier about, am I buying gold at the high right now? Should I wait? And I get a lot of comments. Most of my comments are saying, when do I buy gold? And for me, I think the point is now, because 365 said a fantastic, quote that I've never forgotten. And it was that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is today. And I use that sort of methodology when investing in gold, because I truly believe that gold is the safest investment out there. There's a reason why the Bank of England have over £200 billion of gold in 9 vaults in the Bank of London. I think if a country is willing to invest in that much, I think it's a good, steadfast chance that it's a great investment.
Yeah, certainly. I agree with you. And I was saying as well, one of the things that really got me into precious metals a few years ago was, I remember looking at the imports of the UK, what they were bringing in, what the government was bringing in, the biggest import, and it was gold. And it perked my interest to think, well, why are they buying gold? Why are they bringing that in? And after researching it, watching videos on precious metals and things like that, it really gives you an insight as to why.
Yeah.
And, certainly, I'm not saying gold is the only investment for people. There's lots of other things that can probably bring a greater return. But I like what you say as well. It doesn't make you rich, it keeps you rich. And, people will say that holding money can sometimes be the hardest thing that you can do. In my view, when it comes to gold, it's never going to go to zero. It can't go to zero. It's never gone to zero. For me, it's the best thing if you want to save your money is going to be in gold.
Yeah.
For me. But there's plenty of things, as you say, the S&P 500, if people like doing that, it's returned a good return this year. You've got dividends and things. This is something that gold doesn't have. It doesn't produce anything. But the good thing about gold is there's no maintenance, whereas other things that you will consider will require maintenance. Gold, you can put an ounce of gold in a drawer, forget about it. In 20 years' time, you can take that out and it will, it's always going to be valuable. And that's the nice thing I really like about it. You haven't had to work for it. You haven't had to, maintain it in any way. And it's not going to produce you dividends. It's not going to produce you things, but it's in there if you need it. And that's the good
Yeah.
thing about it. That's what I like about it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I really agree with that. Going on to sort of a different part of life, how's the YouTube channel? Obviously, now you're sitting at 3,580 something subscribers. So I'm assuming that means you're a monetized YouTuber now. How's being a monetized YouTuber treating you? How's YouTube going? And what's your goals and future plans with YouTube? Have you got a target where you'd like to get to?
I think I'd like to reach out to more businesses, more people in the bullion industry. I think the way I kind of want to take the channel is I really want to provide an insight for people that they don't see. And I think in the UK, there is no one that I know of that's going out and meeting places because you've really got to get there. I mean, the time, the money to get to places and things like that. The monetization from YouTube is great. I'm not beating around the bush with that. It's really nice to have that. But if I was to look at it as a point of view of saying, am I doing this for money? It would make no sense because I'd actually be probably losing a lot more than what I'm actually getting. But the way I see it is it's not work for me. I love doing it. It's for me, my passion is to find more information, to help people, to learn, to create content, to create videos. And that's what I really enjoy doing. So for me, someone could say to me, if there's someone like another bullion dealer or something that wants to have a chat or something like that, then there's always a way for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I think as I've sort of gone through, I think I've learned the way of saying, how can I do that, as opposed to saying I can't do that. Because I remember, just a year into the YouTube, I had 300 subscribers. So 2 years into it, I had 1,000, and that's when I reached out to Tavex and places, and it's really grown. So it's nice to see the growth, but it's not the most important thing for me.
Yeah.
I think it's like you create what you really enjoy doing, and it will never feel like work. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm going to keep trying to do, and hopefully people like it. I think people seem like they like the interviews and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to keep doing that,
Yeah,
and then just go from there.
I think it's great, man. I think you give a real unique, raw view on what it's like to actually go out and meet these guys. And you're right, it's a massive effort. To be real, for people who aren't YouTubers and don't have monetized channels, I know you all probably think we're rolling in it, but really, yes, you do earn an income, and it can be good if you have a good month and you get a few videos that hit several thousand views. But realistically, the time that you put into YouTube for the amount of monetary value you get out at this lower level is not cost effective. So you really have to love it first and not do it for an income. Because when you go out, like you said, you left at 4 in the morning, whatever it was, to go to Tavex, you caught a bus. Sorry, it was 4 hour bus drive. That was crazy. So you've got to love it first, and then look at the income as a second. You're right. I think with the type of content you're doing, it's quite similar to my style of what I enjoy. I think that's why I like watching your videos. I like the professionalism of it and the real factual data of it as well. I think that's really valuable. I think that I can see your channel easily growing to 10,000 subscribers and beyond. I think that's definitely doable. And like you say, it's a tough slog, isn't it? I mean, I remember. I think it was I think it was a year. It might have been two, but I think it was a year before I got monetized. It might have been two. Um, it's a lot of effort. I remember filming every single day after work. You do a whole working day, and then you come home, you've got to cook dinner, you've got to feed the dog, you've got to see the missus, and then you're like, right, I've got to go and draft up a video now, film it, edit it, promote it, publish it. It's not easy. I think people think it is, but yeah, it's certainly not easy. So we've discussed a few things already. We've discussed Tavex Bullion, our trip there, our current investment portfolios, some of our plans for the future, and why I left YouTube. take a quick look at some of the comments and start having, answering any questions people have got. Let's have a little look through. If you guys have got any questions, this would be a prime opportunity to put them through for McDonald Bullion and myself, and we can really focus on answering those. It's great to see 365, our channel moderator, being in the chat, doing a fantastic job as always. I can see Wolf Stackers here, BBA as well, Lee Parola, great to see you. And Luke, Ogia Coins as well. Davis, thanks for joining. He said, I just love it. It is an amazing substance. Feel very lucky to have some. I absolutely agree. And let's go down. We've got a question from 365. Thank you for the question. He said, Can you two do a weekly live? That's a great question. It's something I'd like to do more of because for two reasons. I find them funner, if I'm honest, than creating content. It's much more interactive. You can kind of create content while enjoying talking to your viewers, but you also get to mix with other YouTubers like yourself. What do you think about that? Are you really into live streams? Would you like to do more? Would you like to get on more channels?
I would always be up for it. So I like the lives because it's nice to get everyone in the room as well. It sometimes it's a little bit easier because we haven't got to edit things as well. But it's nice just to have a bit of a chat, really, even if it's not about precious metals or gold or silver or what have you. It's just nice to kind of bring everyone together, have a chat about this and that, and it's nice. I like the lives anyway. I don't do many lives. I think it's been a while since we've certainly, because we've done I want to say we've done definitely one before, maybe even two. But it was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
It was. I think we've only done one, and I think it was at least a year ago. Absolute minimum, it was at least a year ago. But that went very well, actually. I think we're quite similar in what we like with investments and the style of content we film. But you're so right. It's really nice not having to edit. You can just enjoy talking to someone about the passion that you have, and I think that's why you've got it or you're investing it. But when you go to an event like that, everyone's on the same wavelength. You're all investors. Some people are very, very successful there. I mean, we would have been rubbing shoulders with multi-millionaires there. And to be able to network with these high-profile investors was not only unbelievably exciting, but I really enjoyed, we had that chat with a chap called Marcus, didn't we, who owns his own, I think he's a online bullion sort of dealership, if you like. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we had a real good in-depth chat with him. You had an even longer chat before I arrived. And we were talking about, the benefits of investing in Britannias. I know you were telling me you need to get some sovereigns future investments. You need to get some. And Marcus was also agreeing. But that particular conversation was really fantastic. Being able to get involved and talk about the pros and cons, the value of gold, with other investors and some really successful entrepreneurs. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's as you say, most people will want to keep this private, them investing in precious metals. They want to keep it private. That makes sense. I totally understand that. I think in a world where everything's digital, everything's online, privacy is something that's really valuable for people, certainly now more than ever, I think. So to go to an event like that, to mix with people, a lot of the times when people were speaking to me about things, I felt so out of my depth because I thought, well, I didn't have a clue about that. I didn't know that. But then I think, I learned something. I learned probably so many more things from going to that event, from speaking with people than I ever did. But I think that's good when you speak with people that's been doing it a lot longer. Once you gain that sort of experience, you gain perceptions and you gain different ways that people look at things. I think it's useful if you have an idea or a concept or you have a belief in something. Sometimes it's better hearing the complete opposite so you can really critically think about why they think that and why you think that and kind of come to a better conclusion, just to build you as a person. And I think at that event, Marcus, I spoke with Marcus. I did a video recently about his gold service for his bullion business, which I think is on. It's my latest one. It's going to be Archer Commodities, and from speaking with him, very knowledgeable guy, a really nice guy, with a great service, great gold service. But it's nice speaking to people that understand the gold business, certainly better than I do. I'm not an expert in the gold industry. I just create some YouTube videos and things like that. So it's always nice to speak with people, learn more information, learn a bit more about it, and really just have a nice chat just in general. Because I think if I speak about coins and things to my partner or my family, they're not going to be interested because they don't really understand it, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Not many people do. I think that's a common trait. That's a common theme that I think runs with many people. They just don't understand. That's fair enough. People have their own interests, but it was really nice to speak to people and especially in sort of in person as opposed to online.
It was great. I thought.
Yeah.
Didn't stay in London
Oh, I know.
to leave at like 9 o'clock. Did you stay much longer at the Tavex event or?
Oh, I stayed till like 3 in the morning.
No.
It's been so long since I've done that. I literally
3 in the morning.
Yeah, not at the place though. I think there was at the end of the night, because I can't remember when it was. I think it must have been sort of around about 12 o'clock or something. I can't remember. But it was kind of like, when you kind of gather in a group and it's like, right, let's go. And I just followed the leader type thing. And we're all following that one person that knows where to go. I had no idea where we were going, but we ended up in London. Yeah, but I had a great time. It was a
Wow,
good
that's
time.
incredible. Did Honor and the Tavex guys go out? Do you know?
They
Or?
did. Yeah, they did.
Oh
They all had
my
a great
god.
time. And
Oh
I had a great time as well. But I mean, Hatton Gardens, like the hotel I stayed in was pretty much in Hatton Gardens anyway. So
yeah.
once I did the video with them, it was nice because Honor said to me about the market that's literally right behind the hotel. Because I remember looking for my hotel thinking, it's the Hatton Garden Hotel. Why can't I find it? It's telling me on the map it's right here. But in London, you don't realize how close businesses are with one another. I mean, you've got a business in the basement, the ground floor, upstairs. You've got it's so compact. There's so many crammed in. Sometimes it's just really easy to walk past it. But luckily for me, I stayed in a hotel that was really close to the venue. I remember even I went to the event before, where they were drinking just before the event. And I followed them and we were going down this alleyway and it was booming. Like there was bars and everything.
Wow.
It was packed. I mean, people were saying, oh, it's Diagon Alley. I said, yeah, it really is. I've never seen this. I had no idea where I am, but I'm just
Oh
going to follow you.
wow. Mate, I'm so jealous. I was a big mistake not booking a hotel and having to go so early. I'm kind of glad in one way I did because when I got home, so the next morning I felt a little bit hungover and I hadn't drunk a lot, but the stuff we was drinking was strong. So
Yeah.
for sure, if I had have stayed and ended up going out with you and the Tavex guys, which I still would have rather have done, of course, I would have been very ill the next day. Try and look at the bright side at least.
No, that's good. Yeah. I mean, it was a really good day. And just going out in London, for me, I love visiting London, even though you forget how sort of big it is when it comes to, because I remember once I'd filmed, I thought, oh, I'm going to walk to St. Paul's Cathedral because it's only over there. I can't see it, but it's only on the map. But you forget really how far things are. I remember walking to it and thinking, oh, I wish I got the tube because it took me ages. So I thought, well, I'll walk back and it will take me to lunch and I'll walk back that way. But it's just nice just to go out and about really and yeah, meet some people.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so right, let's get back to some of the comments quickly, because I did say I was
Yeah.
going to answer some of your guys' questions. Luke said we will finally see Future get a sovereign. Yeah, maybe one day. I still haven't done it yet. Wicked Witch of the West said, which is the best website to buy gold coins? What do you think, Mac?
Oh, well, everyone's perception of best is different. Are
Mm,
you looking for the best price? If you're looking for the best price, you're probably looking at maybe Atkinson's, Chards, and Tavex. The
mm,
best condition coins. It's all down to perception. There's loads of great dealers out there. I mean, as we were chatting about Marcus, I bought a couple of sovereigns from him. I picked them up yesterday, and they are stunning, stunning coins, stunning sovereigns. So really, I think in terms of best, a lot of people will have their perception of what is the best. Just don't go to the Royal Mint because it's overpriced.
yeah,
Um, if you can stay away from that, I know people will go to them because it's legit, but just go to a reputable bullion dealer. You know, go to Tavex, go Charles, go Atkinson's. Use a bullion dealer that's not Royal Mint because you're over time. You think if you're saving 20, well, if you're spending £20 more, if you're spending a lot on gold, that really does add up. Um, I do suggest probably not buying privately until you really know what you're doing,
yeah, I
until you
agree.
know the means of testing, because that's really important. I've known, I've certainly know people that have lost out majorly when it comes to having fake coins and bars. But I think just maybe look around, have a browse. Bullion by post, I think, is a little bit expensive. I think they're more on the more
Yes.
premium side. But
Hmm.
there's a good website called Coin Compare as well. I think it's like I don't know who made it, but I use it to have a little look at sovereigns just to save me from going through all the websites. But if you're going to ask me, I'd say just Tavex, Charles, Atkinson's, Marcus at the event. He's got one. Um, but see what works for you. What about yourself, Future? What would you say?
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree with you. Two go to will be Tavex Bullion first because I'm loyal to them because of the fantastic relationship we have with them. But not only that, that aside, I'm a hardcore generic stacker who wants the best
Yeah.
value for money. Yes, I could go and get Valcambi bars and stuff like that, but I like the slightly more premium pieces like Britannia's. Um, because they're capital gains tax exempt as well. So I always go to Tavex Bullion. And for me, first thing that comes to mind is price point. You could get the same exact bullion piece from the Royal Mint, Atkinson, Shards, Bullion by Post, Tavex Bullion. But if you're getting the exact same item, what matters the most? Well, the price point, doesn't it? Because nothing changes. Nothing changes in terms of the item itself. If you're buying the quarter ounce gold Britannia, you're going to buy it from the one that is the cheapest with postage or without postage. Secondly, to that, as a business owner myself who prides herself on reputation, I think that does come into the value aspect of it. And I would happily pay a little bit more because I know I'm getting a good relationship from this bullion dealer and they value me as a customer. And then that means something to me. You're saying I think you can buy privately. I have a rule, just my values now are just too high. You know, when you're looking at a quarter ounce Britannia, I think you're looking at over £500. And to buy that privately, there's just too much value and risk there. But when it comes to silver, we're still looking at silver being £25 an ounce. I can value that risk. So I buy silver privately. But when it comes to gold, I go straight to Tavex. Or if I was being really frugal, I might look at Atkinson's, and that would probably be it. But no, great questions. That really helps new investors. I did see a good comment here actually um, from David Richardson. He said he actually asked 365. So I'm going to read this one out. He said 365. What about YouTube stackers interviewing stackers who don't have a channel? I like that concept. I really do. I think that be really interesting. But the difficulty is, how are you going to interview someone that doesn't have a YouTube channel? The reason they don't have it is probably because they don't want to be known about that they're stacking. But it would be interesting to get a more a perspective from a stacker who's real in the shadows, wouldn't it? Um,
Yeah.
of gold. Do you think the same will happen with silver? Um, Trump being president, he's changing a lot of things. I haven't actually seen anything about him looking at the revaluation of gold. Um, I mean, maybe he's looking at it as he knows it. He's a billionaire, isn't he? He's a businessman. He knows the value of gold. Let's be realistic. Maybe he's looking to introduce it in more into America. Do you know much about that, Matt?
No, I'm sorry. I wish I did. I think I know that the revaluation of gold is a very hot topic. I have seen lots of people talk about it, discuss it. I think there's the talk of Fort Knox, Donald Trump checking
Yeah.
out Fort Knox and seeing that, with the gold potentially in today's price being valued at well over $100,000. I don't know about that. I don't know enough to comment about that because I really need to look more into that. In terms of the silver, I would have to look into that. So I don't really want to um, give an answer because I don't understand it. I need to have a little look. But I know when it comes to silver, when it comes to the current value of silver with what it's used for, it's an industrial metal. It's used in so many things. It's a great metal
Hmm.
and it's used and considered to be undervalued by many. So silver is an interesting one. Me personally, I would stick to gold, but
Hmm.
it's something that I will probably research more. So sorry, I don't think I can give a
No,
very
no,
good
I
answer for
appreciate
that.
that. I think that's what that gives you integrity because you're honest about what you don't know, and I try and do the same. So I respect that. Wicked Witch of the West just quickly said, "Who is Marcus? What was the dealership that he has? If we can quickly shout him out because he was a nice chap."
Yeah, he's a nice chap. I was introduced to him by one of the Tavex members, one of the Tavex team. I spoke with Marcus. He runs a company called Archer Commodities. I've done a video on it because I had a very good chat with him and I've done my research into the company. But basically, he offers a bullion buying service, which is different to others because you can basically save in gold with a bigger buyback compared to other dealers. So, for example, you buy a very cheap 1 gram gold bar for £82. I think it's £82 currently. If you was to sell that back to him tomorrow, he will pay you £79.
Mm.
Um, it's a very interesting service because no other bullion dealer offers that or does that. So I wanted to learn about it. So that's why I had a really good in-depth chat with him about it. And it's a legit company. I've done a video on it. I've bought from him. I've bought gold from him. I've tested it all. It's all legit. He's reputable. He's recommended by Tavex. So he's a good guy. So Archer Commodities, you can have a little look. He also, I think when you do the buyback service, when it comes to the gold bars, you can save the gold bars over a course of, let's say, if you want to save 7 1 gram gold bars over a course of time, there will be an option. I think it's coming very soon because I spoke with Marcus about it. There'll be an option where you can convert that and it will take the price off a sovereign. So you can actually convert those bars into a sovereign and just pay the difference, or just, it's a good way of saving, I think. But if you want to learn more about it, then check out my video that I did about it. It explains it a little bit more in depth, but it's a really good service and great gold as well.
So would you say he has some of the highest buyback value for bullion? Is that
Bars,
what you're saying?
yeah. So, for example, a 1 gram gold bar
Yeah.
is currently, I think it's on. I won't look on the website now, but I think it's about £82 when I
Okay.
checked today. So £82 for a 1 gram pre-owned Valcambi bar. I would buy that. There's an option on there to vault it. I would vault that 1 gram gold Valcambi bar. If I then contacted them and said I want to sell it tomorrow, they would give me the price, which would be about £79. Now, no other bullion company will offer you that much, which was
Mhm.
really interesting to me because I thought, well, why is that? Um, so I think 1 gram gold bars currently they're around about 73, £74, but companies will sell them for, if you get it physically with the fancy packaging and everything, it's nearly £100 now, which is absolutely insane. I
That's
remember buying
crazy.
1 gram gold bars when I think they were about nearly £55 an ounce. And I remember
Yeah.
even paying like £70 from the Royal Mint and thinking that was an absolute rip-off.
Yeah.
But that's taken me 3 years to regain my money back because it's well over 30, I think it was like 30 to 40% premium.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas it's an option for people to save in fractional gold bars to later convert to CGT gold. It doesn't work for everyone, but I think for me, I'm just an average guy that wants to save in gold. It works for me, and the video that I've created is to give that information, and if people want to do it, then it's there. I've done it. I've been totally transparent and honest. It works. I think it's fantastic. And I think a lot of bullion dealers will actually pick up on it and potentially offer the service going forward.
Oh yeah, that's great. I really rate that, and thank you for talking about that. It gives Marcus a little bit of a shout out. Let's go back to some of the comments.
Yeah.
So you guys have been smashing in some great questions. Luke Lee said, "I bet Future Investments has got a sack full of sovereigns."
Yeah, you like the Britannias more, don't you? But I can understand why.
Mate, it's really only because I'm like, why would I want 22 carat when I can have 24 carat? Oh yeah, I know that's wrong. I should have a bit of both. What do you prefer Sovs over Britannias?
I like them both. I prefer the sovereigns because from a price point, I think for me they just make sense. But you can't help deny a 1 ounce gold Britannia. They're just really nice. You know, gold. I think the fractional, the halves, the premium, I think is around 10%. So when you compare it to a sovereign makes sense. I know it's 22 carat, and a Britannia is going to be 24. It's going to be 4 9s, but the premium is going to be a lot less, and that appeals to some people. But some people prefer the appearance of the gold Britannias, and I totally get that. But I think when you want to buy as close to spot, sovereigns make so much more sense.
A quarter ounce gold Britannia or a full sovereign?
I mean, they're both. You could take them out tomorrow and sell either one. Um, I, It's been a while now since I've learned the gold Britannia. I can't remember it. Is it heavier than the full sovereign, or is it vice versa?
Well, I know a quarter ounce Britannia is 7.7 grams. I don't know how much this 22 carat sovereign weighs.
I think the sovereign's going to be slightly well. The premium for the sovereign, I think, when you compare it to the quarter ounce gold Brit, the sovereign is going to be better premium wise, just because there's so many of them. I think the issue with the sovereigns is when you buy the best value ones, you don't know what coin you're getting. Um,
Yeah.
Potentially, if you like the appearance of coins, because we all like seeing shiny things and things being nice, especially if you're into coins and bars and things like that. I totally get it. So I think when it comes to being more liquid, there's no difference really, because you can sell either one of them very easily. But I think when you put them side by side, if you're trying to stack as close to that premium, unless you can get a quarter Brit at spot, but then of course you're potentially buying privately, or if you've got contacts in that, is some things that the average sort of person might not have. I think for overall comparing them side by side, the Britannia might look prettier for some people, but I think the sovereign, you can't argue with the premium. The premium is going to be less than the quarter, but yeah,
Yeah.
it
So
if
essentially,
you're
what you're
saving in
saying is
gold,
essentially
yeah,
what you're saying is you get more money. You get more for your money with the sovereign just than you do with a Britannia, despite it being, if you forget the fact that they're 22 versus 24 carat, just looking at the value to value percentage over spot, Sov's the better buy.
yeah, for me. But I mean, you can't go if you're saving in gold, it's much better than saving cash anyway, because it's going to go up. You know, it's got up
Exactly.
40%, so it's all personal preference. But for me, it's sovereigns. But I'd take any Britannias for sure.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at Tavex Bullion's website now, and a quarter ounce Britannia, I can't get my mind over this. It's ridiculous. A quarter ounce British Britannia 2024 gold coin is currently 634
Wow.
£634 and 35 pence. I mean, I've got a couple, you can see them here. I paid around £450 a piece for those, as I bought them next year or two, really, of this, because 2023, you could pick up a 1 ounce gold Britannia for 1,700 quid. Now they're well over £2,000.
I know. And I remember, like, it's when people say it's now a good time to buy gold, and it's just like, for me, I've been that way for like the last 3 to 4 years. I've been thinking the exact same thing. I remember seeing 1/10 gold when I went in, and it was 160 quid for a 1/10, and I thought that's so much money for a tiny little gold coin.
Yeah.
But now they're like 240 quid. And I'm just thinking, wow, if I'd have bought that back then, when I was thinking it was a rip-off and people was telling me that it's too much, you know, if I'd have bought more of it, I'd be well in profit.
Oh,
So I
mate,
think,
Sorry, go
yeah,
on.
the real thing about it is there's never going to be the best time to buy gold. It's something that you keep, that you hold on to. Don't buy gold if you're going to sell it tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
something that you've got to hold, and it's a storage of wealth. But for me, there's one way with gold, and it will only go up.
What's your plan when it comes to gold? Are you looking to have gold as a retirement? Are you going to pass it down to your children? Are you going to, what's your plan? For me personally, I'm going to use it as a hedge against inflation, as we savings account essentially. And then when I want to get to my hopefully early retirement age, hopefully, I'm just going to liquidate pretty much the lot and enjoy the fruits of my labor and die basically without a penny to my name. I'm going to live the remaining 20 years of my life with.
I think for me, I've not. I haven't got I haven't got like a fixed conclusion of what I will do with my gold. Now, I think for me, ultimately, it just gives me options. So if I amass a gold stack collection in the future and something comes up, maybe I want to purchase a property. Maybe I want to help someone, a family member out, or I would much rather have it than not have it.
Yeah.
I think for me, like I had my money in an ISA, and I remember looking at that ISA, and the rates at the time were really good. And I just think, like, if I'd have put my money into gold at the time, I would be triple what I've got, what I would have
Mm,
got from that rate that the bank's given me. And for me, it really, like, I question it. I'm like, well, why have they done that? And that's because, of course, they use your money and they lend it and they make more money, etc. Um, but for me, I think going forward, I don't have a this is what I'm going to do. I think for me, it's just going to give me options, and I would happy to sell gold. I'm not going to hoard it constantly and be like Gollum, not let anyone, go near it or see it. I think it's a tool that will give you options in the future. And for me, that's what it's all about, really. It's a savings account for me.
yeah, it's a really nice savings account as well, isn't it? It's funny how you say about I wish I bought more because now it's 3 times what I paid for it or whatever. But isn't it weird that we all gold stackers think that and say that, because we all know that gold, and I feel pretty confident in saying that gold is the safest investment for
Oh yeah.
putting your wealth into. I really do. With every other investment in my portfolio, every now and then I get a little niggling feeling of what happens if it fails and it plummets. Right now, of course, you only lose when you sell. If the S&P 500 was to crash tomorrow, I would only actually lose that value if I was to click that sell button. I do believe that, but with gold, I never ever get that inclination of, oh, what if the value went to like £1? I'm going to lose all my value of that. But I never think that. So then, if I'm so confident, why don't I go out and take X amount of thousands of pounds and buy five? Let's, as an example, of course. Why don't I go out and buy 5 1 ounce golden Britannias instead of 1/4 ounce every year? I mean, it's funny that we believe in it so much, yet human nature, we still, because there is a chance of risk there, we hold back a little bit when we know full well that the chances are it's a great investment and it's going to yield fantastic results.
Yeah, certainly. I understand. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that's what makes us human, isn't it? We're always a little bit, we have to be wary over the things that we buy, especially when it comes to bullion. This is not cheap. Sovereigns are, going nearly £600 now. It's a lot of money for people.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to think that, because it means we're not stupid. But I also believe in a balance of things. So I do believe everyone should try to own gold, because I think it's
Mhm.
really important. But I also think that it's important not to miss out on the opportunities
L-
that you get in your life as well. So
Yeah.
having said that, what I'm saying is, I remember seeing a video of this guy, and it was bizarre to me, because I thought, why have you created this? And he was saying, "Oh, I've got the choice of buying a tube of maples or going on holiday with my wife." And I thought, mate, like,
Holiday with the wife.
holiday with the wife, like, forget the
Mhm.
tube. That's always going to be there. And it
Yeah.
was bizarre to me, because I think that there are people, I included, you get tunnel visioned into thinking, I've got to spend all my money on gold, silver. I've got to keep
Hmm.
doing it, keep doing it. We really miss out on the things that really do matter. So I
Yeah.
think when it comes to your investments, I think it's important to invest. It's important to put your money into things, but also not to leave the things that matter behind. And it's
I
all a
agree.
balance.
I
So
think I think you said it so well. I mean, I've been there. As a younger investor in my early days, I got so, as you said, tunnel visioned, and you do neglect the things in life. And sometimes it makes you go, "Now I want this target of a quarter ounce gold Britannia over spending it on something I want, or something to do with my partner," and that definitely can become a problem. Balance is everything, and diversification is key, not only in your portfolio, but like you say, in your life as well. Now, on a more positive topic, slightly changing it, do you think in 2030 we're all going to get absolutely evaporated by this meteor that's got a 2-3% chance of hitting Earth?
I I hope not. Or if it does, I hope it goes in the sea. But I've no idea. Well, if there's a chance, I hope it doesn't happen, because I kind of want to be around a little bit longer after that. Um, but I don't know. Can you fire a missile at it, or I don't know. I have seen it in the news though. It's interesting, isn't it? I think they said there's a higher chance, but I'm thinking, like, is it going to hit or not? Because if anything, you're kind of like putting that fear into people to thinking, oh yeah, it might happen, it might not. But
Yeah.
just to let you know, it will take out a city worth of people, and it's like, yeah, all right, no worries. We'll let you know, keep you updated. And you just think, why would you, why would you do that if you don't know for certain? But I hope
Mm.
not is the answer. What about yourself?
I hope not, of course. But it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, we're in the
Yeah.
UK, so we're completely surrounded on this little island by water. So if this bloody meteor, I think that's the size of a it's the size of a Boeing 747, apparently.
Oh,
If it hits in the water, I imagine there's going to be a tsunami. So I hope it hits somewhere in the Atlantic or Indian Ocean, or somewhere miles away from any piece of land. But if it hits near the UK, we're in trouble, because we're, you know, we're pretty much. I think in the UK, wherever you are, you're like something really, like, I can't remember the fact. Very, very close to, at any point in the UK, you can get to the sea in like 20 minutes. So
yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's like
well,
there's a certain amount of the population that's 45 minutes or less away from the sea, isn't it?
something like that. Yeah, Wolf Stacker said we already died once in 2012.
Oh yeah, we survived.
The
Oh, I
Mayan
survived, Wolf. I
calendar.
don't know about yourself.
Did you see that film, 2012?
Yeah, I quite enjoy it. I haven't seen it for years. I was saying, because I watched The Day After Tomorrow,
Hmm.
and that's a bit like that film. And I used to really like that film ages ago. But it's a little bit like 2012. But I actually haven't seen it. I think I need to give it a watch. Wolf, actually, have you seen it, Future?
2012.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I watched it the year it came out in cinema, and as a young, I would have been in 2012. I would have been
I think it came out
about.
2009, wasn't it?
Oh, sorry, you're right.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
you're right. Actually, it didn't come out in 2012. I Yes, I would have been about 12, 13, 13 or so. And I remember I left the cinema and I thought, God, I hope this is not real. And lo and behold, 2012, that was, you know, 13 years ago or whatever, we're still here. So we're all right. We're all right.
Yeah, we survived it.
Yeah. Yeah, the price right now to 1/10 ounce, and it's around £279.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. That is for a premium Australian lunar year piece, so it's probably more
Ah,
like 260 for a generic Britannia or something. But what do you think going forward? Obviously, gold being so expensive now, you know, back when I started investing in bullion in 2020, like you said, you could pick up a 1 gram gold bar from the Royal Mint itself for like 55, £59. It was crazy. Now we look back, we think that's cheap, of course. Um, Now it's nearly, you know, verging on 100. Do you think that gold is going to get too expensive for people to invest in? Because when I started investing in gold, I was nervous. I started off with 1 gram gold bars because it was the cheapest value entry
yeah.
at 55, £60. And even then, I don't know, I was younger and you had less income because you were learning to become an investor. That was a lot of money to invest in something I had no teaching of. No one had told me to do that. I was doing it off my own back. So going forward, do you think that people are going to be more scared to invest? Because when you look at a gram of gold being 100 quid, or a 1/10 ounce being over £200, that's crazy for such a small precious metal. We both know how small they are when they actually arrive. Is it going to be the case that 1 gram gold bars are the only sort of possible entry for realistically for the general public to get into gold? Or do you think people will find a way of still being able to buy quarter ounce Britannias and stuff like that?
Well, I think when it comes to gold, it will go up, um, because cash is going down. It's the demand. The demand outstrips the supply, so naturally it's going to go up. Um, I think when it comes to gold, grams are they're going to be naturally affected with the price increase, but I think that, I mean, unless they want to create a 1/8 sovereign, the Royal Mint, which I could probably see them doing. I
Good
really
point.
think I really think half sovereigns, when for me, I can see half sovereigns reaching £500. I really can, quite soon. I personally think that, you know.
Mhm.
And I think the Royal Mint will really be thinking, how can we create something to fill that gap? Because when you compare, you know, wage increase and things, and gold is getting very expensive for a lot of people. Well, it is really expensive. I think there's people are naturally going to look to those options of grams, potentially 1/8. I think 1/8 is going to potentially become a little bit more popular. Half
Mhm.
sovereigns, I think, will become more popular as well. I think it would be a price point though. I remember speaking with Dan at Cardiff Gold. I remember him saying when in the video, I think it was the change of the price point of people. So as soon as 1 ounce gold coins went from 1,700 to nearly £2,500 now, 2,000, nearly £2,400. I think the price point is what attracted people. So people were naturally buying those gold bars because they would spend £1,500, and now that it's not a 1 ounce gold coin, it's a 20 gram
Mhm.
bar. That's all they could afford. So I think it's going to be more of a price point for people as opposed to the product. And I think the Royal Mint are going to see that, and I think that they will certainly consider something to fill the gap between the half sovereign and the grand bar. So something around about sort of £250 or so. So I think they might do like a 1/8 or something, or maybe more quarters, like quarter sovereigns. But what about yourself? What do you think?
Oh, I think you actually thought of something that I hadn't thought of, and you're probably right there that the Royal Mint are going to think, hang on a minute, we need to sort of cater to a market where we still want people to buy gold on the who are lower income earners. So a 1/8 piece is or something like that is probably quite wise. Um, I don't see it coming soon though, if I'm honest. I think that 1 gram will be the new well, it's always been the entry, hasn't it? 1 gram has always been the entry market into precious metals.
Yeah.
I think I think 1/10 ounce will be doable for people. Luckily, it's still quite a low value. But I think when it breaks £300, which is a way off yet, I think that will be a point where people look at it and go, "Whoa, that's quite a lot just to enter into the market." So I think people are going to probably still pick up more 1 gram gold bars going forward. I know the premiums are astronomical, and like you said, you've got to wait years before you even get your money back, let alone profit. But eventually, you will get your money back. And luckily, gold's a long term investment. So I don't really worry about that. But I think, yeah, 1 gram gold bars are going to be popular in demand purely from the value point. Going on to Wolfstacker, he said, when do you think AG, so gold to silver ratio, will be, sorry, AU to gold, to silver to gold ratio will be under 70 to 1? Is that how big it is right now? 70 to 1.
I've got to check.
Um,
Let me have a look at the ratio.
so guess what he's saying really is, the huge difference in value between silver and gold. Will it change? Will it close up? I don't think for a while it will. I think the leap of gold is too far ahead. It's taken a massive jump and it's been ahead for a long time. Silver seems to be quite a slow mover. Um, I think that maybe in the next decade or two, if silver sources for mining it become more scarce, then that's when we'll see bigger jumps, because it's like anything. If demand outweighs supply, then the value goes up. But if supply outweighs the demand, then the value goes down or stays the same. So until we see that difference, I don't think the gold to silver ratio is going to change particularly. While Mac's just looking that up, I'm looking at the comments. David Richardson said that's why a lot of stackers are going down the fractional route as an ounce is becoming unaffordable. Absolutely. I mean, even in 2023, 1 ounce gold in Britannia was around 1,700 British pound. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of money. Who's got 1,700 pounds to just go out and buy a 1 ounce gold Britannia? I mean, it's an investment that is going to preserve wealth and hedge against inflation. Fantastic. But most people need that money. They need it as a war chest for their house, their property, in case something goes wrong. And a lot of people can't even afford to save that. So now we're looking at an ounce being well over 2,000, more like 2,200 and something pound. You're right. Fractional is going to be the way forward. And the council tax, yes, that's going up in a lot of counties in the UK as well. Wolfstack is saying it's now 88 to 1, if I'm not wrong, buddy. So yeah, that's one point. The gap's got even bigger. Triadale said sovereigns may be the change in the future. The content for gold 80% to 50%. Do you think that might be possible? Maybe the change sovereigns may be the change in future. The content for gold. I'm not sure what he means by that.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see so what he's saying is, do we think that in the future they potentially go from, let's say, as opposed to 4 9's fine, will they go down to like 80 or 50, let's say, for a sovereign or something, something like that? That's an interesting perspective, actually, Tridal.
That is, isn't it? Because it could make a value entry for the lower income markets, couldn't it? If you're selling a 1/10 ounce, but it's not 24 carat, it's 9 carat or 16 carat, then people are still going to feel like they own a good amount of gold, even though the value's less because of the pure. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I personally would never want to go less. I'm biblically, strong for 24 carat. That's why I haven't bought sovereigns, but it's a good thought process.
I think Tridal, I think don't quote me on it, but I remember or vaguely remember seeing something that sovereigns can't. They have to weigh a certain amount of gold. So they have to be 22 karat gold. So you'll see that with halves, even the proofs that the Royal Mint do. The Royal Mint do quarters. I don't think they do 1/8. I've seen other private mints do 1/8, but probably stay away from them because they're probably overpriced. But I think that they have to contain a certain amount of gold. And I think the Royal Mint now, because they obviously mix it with a bigger alloy of copper as opposed to silver. So prior with the Gillick sovereigns, and prior to that, they made it with silver and copper. So you have 5% silver and 3% copper. But you think about the amount of money that the Royal Mint have saved by producing 8% copper sovereigns as opposed to 5%, and probably charging their customers more. So this is why I don't tend to like the newer sovereigns, because I think that not only are they saving it, I get the appeal. Some people like the rose gold. I get it, but I think when you're charging more, and people that don't necessarily know that, I think that they're perhaps misinforming people to say, if you've got a Gillick sovereign that's got 5% silver, and a brand new Charles sovereign that's got more copper, and they're making millions and millions, you think about how much silver they're saving. So I think if you like them, get them, but I don't think that they'll change the sovereigns when it comes to going lower in value. I think that they have to be a certain value for it to be considered legal tender. But if I'm wrong, please correct me.
Of product, essentially
Like quality
shrinking
streak.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, shrinking the product size while keeping the price the same, resulting in the consumer paying more for less. They do it in supermarkets, like you say, Quality Street, and the idea is that you're paying the same amount, but you're getting less product. But because we've now lowered the amount that you're actually getting, people don't really process it. Some people notice, most people don't, and that's called shrinkflation. And maybe that could be a case with fractional gold if the prices. If we fast forward 25 years from now, you know, the way gold prices are going up, it's far outweighing the way people earn money. The gap between that is getting larger and larger. So that could be a thing in the future. Shrinkflation, maybe they like he said, maybe they lower the purity, give you the same product, but name it differently, brand it differently. So you're paying less, but you think you're kind of getting a quarter ounce Britannia, but really it's not 4.9's fine, it's 3.9's fine. I don't know. We're kind of getting into a crazy idea there, but yeah, who knows? For sure, if you're a gold investor right now, right, you're happy at least because you've got some and the value keeps going up. So yeah, I mean, what would you do if I gave you, I don't know, let's say if I gave you British sterling pound right now, I said, Mac,
Oof.
on gold and silver, what ratio sort of how much would you put into gold of that 5 grand? How much silver would you buy? And what would you buy? Would you buy 2 1 ounce golden Britannias and then whatever change you've got left by silver? Would you go out and buy a load of 1/10 ounces, or would you buy quarter ounces, or would you go, I don't want any gold, I want all silver? What would you do with 5 grand right now invested in precious metals?
5 grand. Well, I wouldn't buy silver, not now. So I wouldn't buy any silver at all. Gold, I would probably mix it, but my highest denomination would probably be a sovereign. So I'd probably gain maybe four or five sovereigns, and I would probably get a few of the smaller ones. I think if it was something that I was going to keep and never see again, I think I would probably even potentially look at some collector coins, like collector gold coins from the Royal Mint. Maybe even look at a completer coin, like a gold completer coin, and just store them away and just never touch them potentially.
Sure.
But I think for me, I think the most likelihood, if it was given to me today, I think I would more than likely probably get sovereigns. Sovereigns for me are the best coin, but that's for me. And I would probably maybe get like a few of the smaller bars, and I know that they're not capital gains tax, but I know that I'm not going to cross that threshold. If they decrease it, then I'll look to convert it over time. But I'm not selling my gold, so won't affect me. I think
Yeah.
if you've got a lot of gold, then bars wouldn't make sense. But
Yeah.
for me, I don't have enough to go over that threshold. I'm not going to sell that amount to be over that threshold. So I would predominantly have a foundation of sovereigns and then a few little bars as well, just to mix it up in a few little denominations. What about yourself?
Yeah. Great answer. Really great answer. Quite different from me, if I'm honest. But I like it. It shows how individual precious metals investors are. There's no right or wrong answer. I would, if you, Mac, said future investments, here's £5,000, but you've got to spend it all on precious metals today. What are you buying? I would probably go out and buy 2 1 ounce 2024 Golden Britannias because I want to get the most value for my money. I would do that because they're about £2,410 at the moment. So that would be £4,820. That would leave me with about £180. So I'd try and squeeze in 3 1 gram gold bars to add to my fractional stack. The reason I'd go mostly spend all of it on 1 ounce coins is because I want the best value for money for the long term investment, and I see that with gold for sure. 1 ounce
Yeah.
gold.
And that's good. Like I think the 1 ounce gold coins, I think is a great answer. They're brilliant. They're low premium. It suits your mindset when it comes to investing in gold. So they're great coins to own as well. I just wanted to touch actually upon Wicked, Witch of the West. Actually says he would buy a Rolex. Would you consider buying a
Oh,
Rolex?
absolutely. God, don't talk to me about Rolex. I have got it on my mind at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a massive watch person. I like a nice watch, but I have this one watch in my mind, and I've always told myself there's 2 things once I achieve my buy to let, maybe 2 buy to lets, and a nice portfolio and business. When I get to that financial point of complete stability and wealth, where I'm like, I'm really doing well here, I've kind of reached what I wanted, a couple of buy to lets, my nice portfolio business, I am going to treat myself to a Hulk Submariner Rolex. It's the silver Rolex wrist and band, and the face is green. They're about 16 to 17 grand. They do be a little bit more if you get one with papers and stuff like that. But I have something about that watch I absolutely love. In COVID 2020, they were about 13 grand. Now they're 16, 17 grand. So I would definitely get one of them, the Rolex Hulk Submariner, and I'd also go and treat myself to an Aston Martin Vantage at the same time if I had that sort of money to waste on materialistic assets that are a liability, not an asset. How about
Very
yourself?
nice. Watches I wear and probably will always wear my Casio. I've got a £10 Casio. I think it's the is it the F10 or something? It's the one they did in the 80s and they've never changed. But it's such a good watch. Like I just know that when it breaks, it's never broke, and I've had it for years. But I just know when it breaks, I just get another one, and it will always work. And I think when it comes to a Rolex, I definitely won't turn one down if it was offered to me. But I
Yeah,
think if it came to if I had like a sum of money to buy, I don't think a watch would be for me. But I've had watches in the past. I didn't like paying the money to maintain them as well, which was a bit of a downfall for me when it came to the watch. I didn't realize that at the time, but I think it's important to buy things that you get enjoyment out of. And if people get enjoyment out of watches, especially if you've obtained through your assets, because you're not really spending the money that you're earning through your work and things like that. If anything, I would probably encourage to, if you're gaining that, there's got to be something to look forward to. And I think it's important, whether it be a holiday or a nice car or something. I don't think it's something that you know you should be like, I'm just going to go 100% on gold, I'm going to go 100% on this, because I think you've got to live your life as well. And materialistic things, every now and again, for me, it's all a balance. So I think that you should, but I think it's save a little, spend a little. And I think if you
yeah.
get that balance right, for me, I think that's the way to go.
Okay, so I've got a question for you then. In that case, you can go anywhere in the world right now for a holiday. I'll pay for it. Future Investments will sponsor McDonald Bullion.
Brilliant.
You go away with 2 weeks, you can take the partner. Where would you go? And the question also goes to you guys in the comments as well. While Max thinking about his answer and answering where he would go for 2 weeks, thanks to Future Investments sponsoring that holiday, where would you go? Let me know in the comment section while Max answering that answer. Where would you go, Matt?
I mean, something tells me that I'd want to go somewhere completely different that I know that I'll never go again. But I don't know, probably like a beach holiday or so. Lee says Wales. Where, yeah, go Tenby. Um, I think somewhere like, I don't know, maybe the Caribbean or something nice
Oh,
like that. I think something where is like completely like you're kind of on your own. Oh, Nerd says Japan. Actually, Japan's quite tempting. I'm going to stick with somewhere like the Caribbean or the Maldives or something. I think that for me, where you're completely shut off and things for 2 weeks, that would be perfect for me. I
yeah,
probably would still do YouTube videos there, though. That's the trouble. So I think I'd have to leave. I'd have to leave that stuff behind or something. But what about yourself? What would you do?
great answer. Caribbean. I'd love to go there one day for sure. For me, I want to go to Japan. I've actually got a little savings account which I'm saving for Japan. Because I want to go to Tokyo. I want to go see the cars, the culture there. Lee Parola will know I want to see that. Lee's an absolute legend, by the way. Lee, I've still got the bug out bag you sent me, and I love it to bits. In fact, that knife is from the bug out bag. Anyway, I would go to Japan. And then second to that, I would want to go to Vegas. I've really wanted to experience the casino and the buzz and the nightlife of Las Vegas. Something about that to me is just really cool. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
I
David
think it's
Richards said sorry, go on, mate.
I was going to
Sorry.
say it's experience that stuff that you're completely alien to, which is kind of the natural being intrigued in that. So like places like Japan and things like that, they're so technology advanced compared to the things that we have here. It would intrigue me to go. But Vegas as well, yeah. Who would not want to go to Vegas? I think that'd be cool.
Could you do it?
I couldn't. I couldn't. Yeah, no. I'm too scared to do that. I think maybe a little bit, but I think like I just know that I'll lose, and to me, like I'll just keep telling myself the house is going to win. The house is going to win. Don't do it. Don't do it. But
Yeah,
I'd have a go. I'd have a flutter. But yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I
Yeah,
haven't
it'd
got
have to
that
be a
in me.
small amount, wouldn't it? But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I could.
No, that's fair enough. That's absolutely fair enough. Yeah, David Richardson said New Hampshire, USA.
Oh, lovely.
Um, Olga Coin, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, said, being from the United States of America, for a 2 week vacation, I take the family to Australia because my daughter has always wanted to go there. She loves koalas. And Wolfstacker said Thailand. Very cool. Yeah. Uh, Australia. I went there in 2008 and I do want to go back. Incredible, incredible place.
Yeah, beaches and everything. I suppose it's like so. Like I know some of the people that I would have gone to school with or work wise and things like that. Everyone always says Australia, don't they? It's kind of like the natural thing to go, ah, let's go Australia. But it's because it's so nice, you know. It's really nice. We've got the common language, similar culture, similar laws, things like that. Um,
Hmm.
it's just so far for me. Like it's just so far away. I don't know if I could go that far.
Yeah, definitely. It's a long way, especially when you've got responsibilities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so going forward back to YouTube, what sort of content are you? I know you said you want to go and do more interviews and stuff like that. Who are you most into at the moment with YouTube? Who are you most like regarding precious metals or investments? Are there any names out there that you're really enjoying their content or that you go back to time and time again?
So I think if I was to pick out one, it would be Backyard Bullion. I think Backyard Bullion was the inspiration for my channel when I first got started because I remember thinking, I want to do a YouTube channel and I want to do it on something I'm interested in. I thought, well, I'm getting into buying gold and silver. So let me do like a bit of a journal kind of thing for YouTube, and I'll record it and I'll upload it because it's something for me to keep focus on, and I can kind of track it and have fun with it. So I think if I was to answer that, I'd say Backyard Bullion. I think he's the main guy, I think, when it comes to the
Yeah.
UK. There's not many people. Certainly when I started, it was literally American YouTubers I'd watch, which things are a little bit different if you're in America to the UK, just because tax laws and things like that. Um, but it was nice to watch something that was familiar, that was UK bound, because I knew what he said would apply to us because I live here as well. So what he was saying and recommending and things like that. I mean, he says that he's not a financial advisor or anything, but I learned so much from him. So I would say, if I was to answer that, Backyard Bullion. What about yourself?
Yeah, no, great answer. I mean, he's been around a long time. He's got 69,000 subscribers, so for sure he's the biggest precious metals YouTuber in the UK. He's got over 12,400,000 channel views. He's a big deal in the UK. For me, I can't pinpoint loads because there's so many. 365, Cobra Stacker. I like creative precious metals, Whiskey Wednesdays. I find them very relaxing. Sometimes I put them on when I'm eating dinner and chilling out and I need to just unwind. But a channel I really enjoy and get a lot of information from is a YouTube channel called Nisha, and she's got 1.51 million subscribers, and her videos are very, very easy to understand. They're great ways on money, great talks on money habits, the worst things that you can do, the best side hustles, a lot of great stuff like that. And I really enjoy her content. She's sort of blown up recently. Doesn't ever talk about precious metals. She talks more about mindset on self development, finance, and business. That really resonates with me, to be fair.
No, that's good. I'm just searching her videos now, so I'll take a look because I think it's something that I'd be intrigued to see
Yeah,
and watch
definitely.
as well.
If you could just bear with me, Mac, and just talk to the guys for 2 minutes. I just need to get the charger because the camera's gonna die, and I don't want that to happen. So if you're all right for just 2 minutes while I sort that out, I'll be back in a moment if that's okay.
Yeah, go right ahead. So
Thanks, Mac.
I suppose the question will go out to you guys as well. Is there a channel that you watch regularly when it comes to, I suppose it doesn't have to necessarily be precious metals, but is there any channels in particular that you find yourself keep going back to? Lee says, my first was Future Investments. Yeah, I watch Future. He's not here now, so I can say it. But yeah, I watch Future's videos as well. I find them really informative and that. And Tech's here. Hello, Tech. How are you doing? If you've got any questions or anything, guys, feel free to put them in. I'm just going to scroll up just to have a little look, just to make sure that we haven't missed anything. Dave says £5,000 worth of quarter ounce gold Britannias. They're fractional. Yeah, Dave, you're not wrong. They are easy. The good thing about gold is they're very sort of easily. You could you can sell it very easily. And you say Yankee stacking as well. Yeah, I've not seen much of Yankee stacking. I know I have subscribed to him. I don't see much of his videos. I think out of all of them, I like watching Spectacular because I like watching the coin guy. I think he goes to his shop in Florida, and I just like listening to that because it's like an hour long and you can chill out and listen to it. But yeah, I'll check out Yankee stacking because I know that I subscribe, but I know I haven't seen many videos, so I'll catch up with that. But Nerd says Backyard Bullion as well. Yeah, I agree. Nerd, great channel. 365 name speaks for itself, really. 365 has been brilliant, absolutely fantastic when it comes to the YouTube content, bringing people together. Great guy. Got a lot of time for 365, so great channel. And the podcast as well. Yes, Andy and the podcast. He does a brilliant podcast. I have chatted to Andy recently as well. He's a pleasure to speak to. Really good guy, and I'll be sure to listen in on more of the podcasts as well because I wanted to try and get in the other day, but I just couldn't, which was a little bit annoying. But I will be joining in on the podcast very soon. But the Yankees very political, and I struggle a little with that channel. Yeah, that's the tricky thing, isn't it? It's like I know that the political stuff will bring attention. For myself, I really try to not do that because I don't want to become political and bring that in because I think it divides people. Um, People have their own views, that's fine, but I think I kind of understand what you're saying, Si. Certainly, yeah, definitely. Um, Future, have you returned?
I have indeed. Thanks for that, Mac. I
It's
agree
all right.
with what you and Si are saying. Um, Yankee Stacker is one of those channels that I put on when I'm kind of just like, you watch it more for entertainment than you do for building up investment knowledge value. Um, it's very Americanized, but nonetheless, he's done well, and it's a big channel. So yeah, I agree. Great to see Si in the live chat as well. Thanks for stopping by, Si. You've got some amazing pieces in your backdrop there, Mac. Would you like to talk us through a couple of them? There's a really interesting Pac-Man looking piece down the bottom left there. Is that is that is that copper? Is that, I can't figure it out. Silver, tarnished silver.
So this one is done by Valui. So Valui are in Stackers Social, and I won a competition. I think it was in the Stackers Social Discord group. So this is brass, but when it came in, I was like mesmerized by it. I love it, and it's going to be poured. It's poured brass, but how cool is that? I just thought it was just really cool. I really like the poured pieces because it's not just on a press, it's time, effort, and money that people have really put into it. And I just think it's just really nice. I love it. It's even if it's brass, it's brilliant. So, but yeah, I've got a few pieces, mostly sovereigns, really. I think whatever I could get for the backdrop for tonight, really. But I've got a 1996 gold half sovereign, which is kind of cool. Yeah, of the half sovereign, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I can see it shining from all the way back there.
Yeah, sorry guys, I was probably not going to focus. Hang on.
That's my fault. That is unreal. The orange in it is crazy. Look at the difference of it between, the Britannia. The Britannia's very yellow, very. It's not really orangey, but the sovereigns. I've got to be honest. I don't own any, but there's something special about the way a sovereign has that sort of coppery orange deepness to it.
Yeah, and like with the copper, I actually quite like the look of the rose gold copper when it comes to the proof coins. I don't like them for the regular bullion investment because I think that they're saving costs, and I think that um, they're not as good as the older ones. But that's just me. But I think when it comes to the proof ones, I really do like them. I think they look really cool. But I mean, you've got a couple of Gillicks here as well, a couple of Gillick sovereigns, and these are going to be the 5% silver and 3% copper. Before they changed over to the bigger copper alloy to replace the silver. But yeah, I've got a few silver pieces there. This one actually, I loved this one. This one came from Griff. So Coin Noob. Coin Noob does loads of videos on TikTok. He's also on YouTube as well, but this was part of the Secret Santa that TSC set up. So
Yeah.
TSC does a Secret Santa. He's done it for the last 2 years now, I want to say. And I missed out last year, and I really didn't want to miss out on this year. And I got this, and I loved it. I think it just looks fantastic. I won't be able to do a close up because it will lose out of focus, but I think you can guess what it is anyway. It's going to be the Cheetah Australian Mint, I want to say. 4.9's fine, 3.9's fine, sorry, but it's lovely. It's a really nice coin, and I just thought it's really cool. And I'm looking forward to the next one for next year, and a few Britannias and things like that as well. But
That's really cool. What
yeah,
size is that? Because it looks bigger than a 1 ounce.
what the cheetah? Sorry.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a 1 ounce coin. I think it's perhaps the capsule gives it a little bit.
sure. Bit more
Yeah,
size.
I think it's because I probably got the wrong size for the capsule. So like there's a sponge interior when it comes to these, but I think that they're 40 mil, and I think the coin might be 39. So I've just put it in this capsule because I can't tell the difference, and I probably wasn't wearing my glasses at the time. But it's a nice coin. The Australians, like the Perth Mint, the Australian Mint, like they do some really, really nice coins. and I just can't keep up with it. I just can't keep up with the series when it comes to it. And I think when it comes to the money, like the Kookaburra series, I really wanted to complete, but it gets so expensive when it comes to buying the silver, and for me, it just didn't make sense. I might come back to it, but yeah, they make some great coins.
Yeah, definitely. And what are those three circular pieces? Is that sovereigns as well at the front?
So yeah, these ones, I bought these off Dan at Cardiff Gold. So these are half
Ah,
sovereigns.
I've got a
Um,
Cardiff Gold poker chip here.
yeah, I've got loads. I've got loads just in my side. I haven't got a spare hand, but these half sovereigns are really cool. These are like they're going to be half a sovereign, you know.
Yeah,
But these they're really nice. Like I was really pleased with the condition, and when I saw them on Cardiff Gold's website, because half sovereigns can be quite difficult to buy. They're very popular because I think they're just a little, they're a bit of a better price point for a lot of people. I think
yeah.
these cost about 200. I think I paid about £260 for these ones. Um, but they're nice coins. There is a little bit more of a premium when it comes to the half sovereigns, because I think if you was to sell them, I think it might be like just under 10%. I think 7-8% maybe. But
Yeah.
I just think they're really cool. I think they're cool. The sovereigns for me though, the sovereigns are better, but the half sovereigns they're really good as well for me anyway. But
How
premium
much is
wise
one of those
sovereigns.
half sovereigns going to set you back roughly?
Oh, now you're looking. It must be just under £300 now, and it's tiny. Like it's a tiny coin. Like
Crazy, isn't it?
if I was to compare, I mean, I've got a gram here, so you've got a gram of gold there. That's £74 right now,
Yeah,
and it's tiny. You know, but when you compare it to that, you compare it to a silver Britannia. I mean, if you was to show
that's
that to
crazy, isn't it?
yeah, if you was to show that to anyone that didn't know gold and silver, and you was to say this silver coin's worth £25, £26 melt spot price, and then the gold coin's 250, like 10 times that amount, like it's just bizarre, isn't it?
The price to size value is mad. Something I've always found really nice is how good gold looks when you sit it next to silver. Like when you just sat the gold piece on top of the silver there, I think, wow, they complement each other so well.
Yeah, they do. And there was like I remember reading I don't know where I read it or heard it or something, but people were saying not to mix gold with silver when it comes to like jewelry and stuff like that. But I think it just mixes so well. Like I wear so I don't wear much jewelry really. I've only got two rings. My wedding ring is a titanium, just because I like the silver. But when you've got it like side by side together, they just complement each other really nicely, I think. And you've kind of got the best of both worlds then. You've not only got the silver um, for the potential that it could increase in time because it's considered undervalued. It's a really useful metal.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't make sense to buy much of it. So I've actually converted a lot of my silver into gold and other things as well. Um, but it's still better than saving cash for me. When it comes to silver and gold, it's a long term thing. Um, but gold's just a little bit better for me.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fair. To be fair, yeah, gold for me as well. I really stopped buying silver a while ago. It's the 20% VAT on the UK in the UK for silver. They're just God, it really annoys me. I can't help it, but the VAT is crazy. And then the problem with silver is there's so many sexy pieces like the Una and the Lion bars. I absolutely love them, but they're not capital gains tax exempt. So you mix that in with the fact that they're also charging you 20% VAT on top. I'm like, God, it makes it really hard to justify as a wealth preservation device, especially when you've got something sitting around the corner as sexy as gold.
Yeah, I think as well with silver is, for me, I think the most important thing that you can think of when you buy a large quantity of silver is how you're going to sell that silver. So I know that collectibles and things have been really hot recently in the last few years,
Yeah.
but how are you gonna what's your exit strategy? I mean, when you compare, like, if you've got silver Britannias and you're buying them close to spot, these silver Britannias, you could buy them when I first started for £24. I think spot was about 17, £18. But even then, I thought that was a bit of a rip-off because I was thinking, wow, I'm paying so much more money over the spot price for silver, and that was when gold was £160 for a tenth. And of course, look at the price now. You're looking at £26 on silver, and gold has gone up much more. Will silver close in that gap? Potentially. I think there is room for it to grow, but I don't see it picking up the same pace as gold does. I do think it will close.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Silver is a really interesting metal, but I don't think it's here in the UK for certain. If you're spending thousands of pounds, I think gold it just makes so much more sense. I mean, no VAT, easy. I could sell this. I could go into the shop tomorrow, take the coins in. I could even go to a pawnbroker and say, I want melt value for these. And they would give me more than likely melt value. And I've made money on it. I've only bought these 2 coins this year. As opposed to silver, I paid, probably, I can't remember how much now. I remember paying £32 from the Royal Mint, and that was an absolute rip-off.
Yeah.
If I sold all my silver, I'd lose money. But if I sold all my gold, I would gain.
Make money. Yeah.
So,
Isn't that crazy?
I know. I'm
Yeah.
just
It's
having a
absolutely.
little look, sorry, through the comments. I don't want to miss anyone out because
Yeah.
I know
Great.
that I get carried away sometimes. But yeah, Luke just says about the halves at Atkinson's and Hatton Garden Metals. They always go first. Yeah, half sovereigns, they really sell like hotcakes. They go straight out the door as soon as they come in, I believe. And £291 at Atkinson's now. Yeah, I keep an eye on Tavex all the time just to see their half sovereigns. I won't buy any now, but I'm more intrigued to see if they go out the door quicker than they come in, and they really do. What about yourself? Do you think half sovereigns is anything that you consider, or do you think you really want to keep that as close to the premium, as close to spot as possible? Future.
Yeah, it's a great question, Matt. It is a great question. I don't have any sovereigns, and I am not a fan of going in at
Yeah,
half ounce Britannia, half sovs. I'm very much someone that takes a long time to make a decision, but when I do, I commit heavily. I don't dilly dally. If I go in, I jump in first with both feet. So I would always, if I can afford to do it, go for the full out. Go for a full ounce Britannia or a full sovereign. I think it would just bother me if I was owning a half sovereign or a half ounce gold Britannia. It would bother me. I'd rather wait and save up to be able to own that substantial full piece, like a full sov or a full ounce, for two reasons. One, because me just being who I am, it would irritate me. And two, of course, as a generic weight stacker and someone who's trying to invest for the future to get the best value for money, I'm going to try and get the best price closest to spot, right? Which would be a full sov or a full ounce over getting a half. But of course, the benefits of it being half is that it makes it more affordable. It's a fractional piece. But with gold now, it's so expensive that I think even a half sov or a half ounce is so much money,
yeah,
then it's not even a debatable topic, really. I think you might as well just go for the full size piece. I think that's
yeah,
me personally.
yeah. I totally agree with you. I get exactly where you're coming from. Sai just says that he's just bought the dip this week. Sai, I've done the exact same. I think went to 2,316. I bought 4 more bars today, just
Oh,
to kind of capitalize on that.
what bars did you
Um,
buy?
I bought 2 1 grams, and I
Oh,
bought a 1 2.5.
oh, you bought a 2.5.
I
Interesting. Was
I
that a
did.
Britannia bar?
No,
Pam?
that is a I can never say the name. Is it Bard Bed,
Oh,
London?
Bard and Co.
So I didn't buy it from them. I bought a pre-owned one. I bought it from Marcus actually. So
Okay.
I bought some bars off him. Um, and the buyback on the bars, I think I paid £82 for the single grams, and I could sell that back to him tomorrow for 79. And
Wow, that's great.
it's similar to the 2.5s. Like the 2.5s, I didn't see the buyback because I just didn't look at it because I know that I'm not selling it for a start, and it's nice for me to have a little bit of everything. But also, I just wanted to say sorry, Davinia. I wanted to say hello. Davinia's here, so she says hi. Future Investments. It's great to see you as well, Davinia. It's good to have you here.
Great, thanks for spotting that.
Jordan,
she said, "I can't
oh,
afford
yes.
1 ounce gold." That's great. I mean, go for fractional, right? If something's better than nothing, like Max says. And in a few years from now, anyway, whether you've got 1 gram or 1/10 ounce, they'll be worth a shitload of money anyway. Luke said, "Future mate, I think future mate, think of liquidity. Sure, the big online dealers will buy your full 1 ounce, but you're on their terms." That's a good point. I mean, good point, isn't it? I mean, trying to sell a 1 ounce at private, it's not going to be easy. You know, trying to find someone that's willing to part with over 2K on a private sale, that's some risks to that, isn't there?
Yeah, certainly. And I think that I don't think there'll be many people. I think I can't see the benefit of selling privately that large amount of gold, especially to someone that you really don't know. It makes sense to selling it to a dealer, but I think if you're going to sell that to a dealer, you're going to have to go in because you can't post it. It's going to get well over the postage costs, and that's something that you've got to think about as well. Because I remember saying, like, recently before I bought the sovereigns and stuff, you know, I was thinking maybe I should buy ounce gold, but then I was thinking, well, what happens when I sell it? I'm going to have to go in, I'm going to have to store it, I'm going to have to do this and that. And sovereigns just made it a little bit more sense to me to buy. So I think that it gets, for me, the impracticality when it comes to the flexibility of 1 ounce gold coins. It makes more sense to me to buy sovereigns and go a little bit smaller, but also keeping that premium really low.
Yeah.
But having said that, 1 ounce gold coins, you probably won't find. I mean, it's very slim when it comes to the sovereigns. They are really low premium. And there's a reason for that because there's a large amount of gold in it. It's really valuable.
Yeah. So I said, so does special delivery cover the cost of a 1 ounce coin these days? That's a good point because I think the Royal Mail has a limit, don't they, on the value of their special delivery, and I have a feeling that the 1 ounce is over it now.
Yeah, that's what stopped me buying 1 ounces. So there's not going to be an option unless someone can correct me to post 1 ounce gold coins and it be correctly valued. The Royal Mail, the post office, will only cover up to £2,500. I think when you go over that, you're causing more hassle than it's worth. For me, unless you really live next to a bullion dealer or something, and you know that you can go in and you're not going to be posting it, I think the impracticality of how expensive gold is getting, you really have to think about your exit strategy when it comes to gold, because potentially now you might not think a sovereign could be worth well over that in 10, 20 years. You just don't know. But I think it's future proofing your gold when it comes to sell. It's really important.
Excuse the pun, future proving.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I love it. I absolutely love it. Listen, Mac, it's been an o'clock. We're starting the Royal Mail insure it up to. There's anything over than their insured value, then there's risk, isn't there? I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, if we're honest with ourselves, if it's sent by special guaranteed delivery, tracked and signed for, it's probably going to be okay. But if it's not valued and insured up to that full amount, then they suddenly you consider the risk, right? So, yeah, interesting topic. Great questions tonight. Thank you to everyone who's liked the live stream and given us fantastic comments. There's a question here from Jordan Lee. Would you like to read that one, Mac, from the comment section?
Yeah, is it the platinum? So in your opinion, is
Correct.
platinum worth stacking? I recently bought an ounce of platinum. Is it projected to rise? Jordan, if I was to give my honest answer, platinum is it can go one of two ways. I personally won't buy it or stack it because it's way too volatile for me. I think for the price, I think buying a sovereign would potentially be a little bit more stable. But that, having said that, platinum could go up. But I think you're paying VAT on platinum as well, so that's something that you've got to consider. It's not something I buy or look at or talk about. I just don't understand it. And for me, if you're paying 20% VAT, it's not something I would personally be interested in. But what about yourself, Future?
Yeah, good question. Good answer, Mac. For me, I agree with you. I'm looking at the graph right now of platinum on Bullion by Post charts. And you're right, you hit the nail on the head. It's so volatile. The current price of an ounce for platinum is £768.68. And in the last 10 years, it's only increased by £16.88. That's 2.25%. That is not a margin I'm looking to invest in. And when you've got gold that's increasing astronomically, and even silver, we know it's increased 42.24% in the last year, and gold was around 45% in the last year, yielding £720 profit for gold alone. So I am not interested in platinum. I'd rather, I'm happy with the commodities, precious metals, gold and silver. I'd rather stick the rest of my money into my business, which is returning me semi-passive income, or bang it into my index funds that are hands-off, relatively low-risk investments. So I don't really see the need in platinum or palladium, actually. That's just my personal preference.
Yeah, I think, Jordan, if I was to give a really short answer, I think just stick with gold. If you want to make money, stick with gold. If you like collecting, silver's fun. And buy gold as well. But buy what you like, buy what makes you happy. But I think platinum is too much of a risk to make money on or store your wealth if that's what you're looking at. Definitely.
If you guys do want to check out McDonald Bullion's channel, his channel is linked in the description. He did a fantastic video where he went to Tavex Bullion in Hatton Garden, London, and he did some awesome interviews there, and he's got loads of other amazing content. Like I said at the beginning of the video, his most viewed video is the of precious metals is the truth and cons on buying silver. It's currently on 16,000 views. He's got nearly 500,000 channel views and 3,580 subscribers. So hopefully he can by June I can see you easily being much closer to 5,000 subs, mate. And keep doing what you're no worries, keep doing what you're doing. I hope to have you back here on the channel if you'd like to be here again. And thanks for watching, guys. It's been really great to see you in the comments. And if you've got anything to say, Mac, that'd be good.
Just thank you all for listening. Thanks for your evening. I know everyone's time is really precious. Time's the most valuable thing, isn't it? So thank you all so much for joining us this evening. I've had a great time. Future, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you, speaking with you this evening. I'm going to really enjoy seeing your videos coming back as well. I'll certainly be watching, and I hope everyone has a really good evening, and I hope to see everyone very soon.
Thanks, Mac. I really appreciate that, mate. And I look forward to pumping out some more content on the channel and with yourself as well. So until next time, guys, I'll see you all in the very next live stream. I'll see you in the next YouTube episode, and I'll see you over in the comment section on McDonald Bullion's channel as well. See you guys. Thanks, Mac. I'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.